service, and we pray that the good Lord comforts his family and rests his soul in peace. We are making arrangements as government together with the leadership of UPDF to bring back his body from Nairobi, and then we shall be communicating the funeral arrangements when the body shall arrive, when we shall have to pay tribute to him, and eventually when we shall lay him to rest. All the program is being worked out, and once it is completed, we shall communicate it to the public.
ICT and National Guidance Minister Chris Wariomusi giving his word in as far as the late General Eli Tumwine is concerned, and may the Almighty God receive his soul and may he rest in eternal bliss. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of the Uganda People's Defence Forces, UPDF, has delivered a lecture of opportunity to officers and men of the UPDF and Internal Security Organization, ISO, who have been undergoing a course at Oliver Tambo School of Leadership, Kaweweta. The President delivered the opportunity lecture to the officers at the Kololo Independence Grounds in Kampala, where he told them that East African Federation will address the issue of strategic security. President Museveni said that in addition to economic integration, which addresses matters of prosperity, Africa and Uganda in particular should look at political integration to ensure strategic security. Discussing issues of an economic nature, General Museveni said that the purpose of development in society is to create prosperity for the people. He added that a society which is developed and is in a good situation is one which has managed to create prosperity. The President advised that one can achieve prosperity through working hard in order to get food and money. In order to ensure prosperity, the President said a society must stop the primitive way of producing for the stomach only and instead produce both for the stomach and the pocket. The President explained the four sectors of wealth and jobs creation as commercial agriculture with a Kibalo calculation, industries, small or big factories, services like hotels, transport, civil service, and ICT.
Produce for the stomach. For us, we are lucky in Africa, we are lucky because we can do both. We can produce both for the stomach and for the pocket because we happen to have land. But do so with a chivaro. Because what you saw at Kaumu is producing food, because you saw some food there, producing also for the pocket.
UPDF continues to open its doors to sister institutions in terms of joint capacity building. Reason today, you have this joint course of personnel from Internal Security Organization and our own course, personnel. This time round, these are unique because they are other ranks, but for who are being prepared for specialized tasks. You had Your Excellency, the Commandant, mentioning the crop of unique personnel to deal with psychosocial support. This group have been prepared by experts to help in dealing with families and of course our own in terms of dealing with trauma and other stress factors. They have been undergoing basic cadre development, basic ideological orientation in terms of what ordinarily we know. In the world of religion, they've been doing some kind of catechism and ordinary teaching, and here today they will receive confirmation, call it confirmation.
To the trainees and graduates, I would like to congratulate you upon your successful completion of the first two phases of training, that is military and ideological orientation. Your training at Unilim and Oliver Tambo was a deliberate investment upon which meaningful returns are expected out of you. The purpose of these courses is to transform you from being just ordinary observers to being informed patriots who are physically, mentally, and ideologically equipped to comprehend Uganda's national interests and also prepare you to jealously defend them. Besides defending the national interest, you also have a whole task of securing various government programs and efforts aimed at transforming Uganda from a peasant to a modern society. Given the global advancements in ICT, the threats and challenges to our country have also become more complex and sophisticated, requiring enhanced technical skills and mental strength to deal with them. Terrorists and criminal gangs today recruit, induct, and instruct executors of crime largely by the use of ICT. For example, a number of websites for ministries, departments, and agencies of government have of late become targets of cybercrime.
I wish to profoundly thank Your Excellency for the great initiative of the demonstration fund, which clearly removed the fears from the students and confirmed that the notion that transformation is indeed possible. Also, during the course, Your Excellency, all the participants internalized your selected speeches over time about and they appreciated your steadfast and consistent efforts on socio-economic transformation since your early student years up to date.
Basic Cadre Development Course, Basic in Leadership, RA 1987-76, Staff Sergeant Onen. As being the senior student on course, although not the most senior, he was dedicated to assign tasks and work with colleagues to take most decisions. His character was assessed as that of a gentleman who scored above average in most of the assessed areas, and his advised to improve on his shooting skills.
Meanwhile, President Yoweri Museveni has received a special message from the South Sudan President, His Excellency Salva Kiir, at State Lodge Nakasero. The message was delivered to him by South Sudan's Special Envoy, who is also the country's Minister in charge of Presidential Affairs, Honorable Dr. Barnaba Marial Benjamin. President Museveni and the South Sudan Envoy discussed bilateral matters concerning the two countries. In his capacity as one of the guarantors to the South Sudan peace process, President Yoweri Museveni has been invited to attend the graduation ceremony of the first batch of the Unified Forces slated for the 30th of August 2022 in Juba. Honorable Barnaba noted that this long-awaited graduation will mark a fulfillment of a critical milestone in the implementation of the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in South Sudan. The Special Envoy was accompanied by Honorable Joseph Losuba Wongo, the South Sudan Minister for Federal Affairs, among other dignitaries. The government with development partners have launched the Sustainable Energy Response Plan targeting Uganda's refugee and host communities. The three-year program seeks to curb over-reliance of the environmental destructive biomass fuel in refugee settlements. We have more in this story.
Through the Sustainable Energy Response Plan, SAP 2022-2025, government targets to support the refugee and host communities to attain universal access to affordable, reliable and clean energy for social and economic transformation.
Much as the Environment Response Plan has good interventions for forest restoration, it is not sustainable. It is not. If we do not address alternative energy source for our people.
To effectively implement the program, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development will collaborate with the Office of the Prime Minister and development partners.
It's going to help us to reduce on the pressure by coming up with alternative cooking methods, the cooking stoves that save energy, so that we reduce on cutting down of trees. We are going to provide solar for lighting.
Energy is essential for starting any substantial production of goods, be it agricultural or others, in order to create income. And income is the first step to leading an independent life.
Uganda is commended for its role as the biggest refugee host country in Africa and one of the biggest in the world as well, with an estimated population of 1.5 million refugees.
It's not new to us that today Uganda is leading in CRF programs. Globally, we are leading in implementation of this program, comprehensive refugee response, because it is based on our basic understanding and treatment of refugees.
Though the need for more support is emphasized by the United Nations High Commission for Refugees for the country to continue providing humane living conditions for those fleeing conflict in the region.
Whilst the refugee numbers are increasing, resources for management of refugees have been dwindling over the years. The analogy I want to make with respect to this is, it's like going up an escalator that is coming down. You need so much energy to even remain at the same level. This is how I find the situation of refugee management in the country. That making so much effort with the support of government, the government is taking the lead and we are all supporting. Yet the escalator is coming down, funding is coming down. So much effort has to be made even to remain at the same level.
The huge refugee population in the northern and western regions of Uganda is blamed for environmental degradation, mainly attributed to over-reliance on biomass for cooking and other inefficient methods. Dennis Igoa and Juman Samba for UBC News.
Minister for Education and Sports Janet Kataha Museveni has commended the Kabarole-based Kitojo Integrated Development Action, KIDA, for supplementing government's efforts towards the realization of its National Development Plan 3 agenda. This was in a message delivered on her behalf by the State Minister for Primary Education, Joyce Moriku Kaduchu, at the launch of the 5-year KIDA Development Strategic Plan at Serena Hotel here in Kampala.
For over 20 years, the Kitojo Integrated Development Action, KIDA, has been spearheading the provision of basic education, health care, orphans and vulnerable children care, and encouraging the rural people of Kabarole to have a viable savings and credit culture. The organization, which started as a community-based organization, then and gradually rose to an NGO status, has today launched its 5-year strategic development plan to cost shillings 11.6 billion.
Policy documents, and for that matter, this is a very solid, strong strategic plan.
On behalf of the Batolo leaders, the State Minister for Primary Health Care, Margaret Muhanga, and Fort Portal's MP, Alex Lubunda, also commended the program and urged well-wishers to generously contribute towards its success.
This development association, the KIDA, it has really helped so many lives, raise them in terms of small loans and in very good terms. It has also helped in social economic development in the area.
I commend Reverend Sobozi for establishing KIDA, which over the years has touched so many lives.
The KIDA Executive Director, Reverend Canon Ezra Musobozi Monday, narrated some of the problems encountered during those years, being a peasant poor community.
So it is a community that is really struggling socially, economically, to have access the resources needed for quality health care and general well-being.
Various dignitaries, who include Uganda's ambassador to Washington, D.C., Lubigi Konge, Tall Kingdom ministers, among others, attended the launch. Edward Kolinjuko for UBC, Kampala.
We'll now take a short break and return with much more.
Fimba ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Oh, Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, Nga, you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello, is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Be alert. Do not share your Airtel Money PIN number with anyone. Airtel Uganda employees will never ask for your Airtel Money PIN number on call, SMS, or by email. All SIM card registrations, SIM card verifications, or SIM swaps are done at clearly branded Airtel shops and not on phone. To report any fraudulent activity, please call 100 immediately. The official calling number for Airtel promotions is 0200 100 100. Stay alert on Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Elizabeth Nakakuni is on sign language, and I'm Rukidi Edward Kiijanangoma. Now, the Minister for Lands, Judith Nabakoba, and her local government counterpart, Raphael Majizi, have urged all leaders from Karamoja and Teso sub-regions to desist from inciting communities to engage in violence, as both regions are at loggerheads arising from boundary disputes. The two ministers have been engaging leaders from the sub-regions in Mbale City.
Dance Minister Judith Nabakoba has convened a 7-hour meeting for Karamoja and Teso sub-region leaders.
And we agree that to be in position to handle this matter well.
Convened in Mbali City this Wednesday, 24th August 2022, the meeting, which attracted both political and technical leaders from the districts of Abim, Moroto, Napak, Kotido, Nabilatuku, Katakwi and Kaplabyong, was convened to iron out the boundary disputes.
Imagine having a village which is as two MOC1 chairpersons who squeeze the beam southwards towards Napak. As an elder, this question would not have been asked.
The districts were represented by LC5 chairpersons, RDCs and members of parliament.
Even when the border is going to be open, Honorable Akoriki, your people will only pay allegiance to Napak and subscribe to Napak's local government.
Everybody seems to be knowing their boundary. And all the boundaries are not the same.
Among the districts at loggerheads is Abim, which is up against Napak.
You know, they arrest our people inside because they say they are in Katakwi, and then they take to Katakwi. Instead of bring them to Napak, you arrest people from Napak, you take them to Napak.
Others are Kaplebyong, Kotido, Nabilatuk, among others.
So if you deny me land, where do you expect me to survive?
The Dance Minister Judith Nabakoba was flanked by the Minister for Local Government, Raphael Majezi.
You cannot stop somebody from accessing health, education service simply because he's not from your district. Even people from outside Uganda are in our schools and health centers.
We have also asked them to give us their total commitment and support as leaders to enable us complete this exercise. Several attempts have been made for the exercise to be conducted, but in the process, all along the way, our officers are stoned. They are not allowed to conclude or complete the process.
The boundary dispute is partly pegged on the current vast opportunities in Karamoja and its neighborhood, as well as political mistrust.
It is true, we the leaders are the one creating all this.
It is rubber-stamped that if the matter is not solved urgently and amicably, it might not only hamper development, but also spike insecurity in the regions.
You will even wonder how the parish development model will function in such circumstances. And so people have been living in dilemma.
At the end of the day, government maintained that no matter what, there will be no alterations of boundaries and challenged the leaders to preach peace amongst communities.
And as a ministry, we are committed to do a transparent job to open the boundaries, but we need the political leadership in Karamoja and Teso to accept that we go there and they sensitize the people and we deal it peacefully.
We shall work with the Minister of Lands for the reaffirmation of the boundaries. And it means in future in creating administrative units, one factor we must take into account is the boundaries.
We have committed ourselves, me and the colleague Majezi Raphael, that we are going to do a cabinet memo, take to cabinet, ask cabinet to support us in this exercise and also guide us in this exercise. We shall need resources, which resources we cannot get from anywhere but from the President and Cabinet.
For the past 1 year, Karamoja and Teso sub-regions have witnessed increase in cases of criminality, mainly arising from cattle wrestling and land disputes. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
2 men have been convicted for poisoning and killing 6 lions in Queen Elizabeth National Park. The prosecution presented 13 witnesses who nailed the defendants.
Lions died from
Tumuhira Vincent, aged 49, and Aria Robert, aged 40, residents of Tukundani and Kazimba village in Kanungu district respectively, have been convicted of poisoning and killing 6 climbing lions. Magistrate Gladys Kamasanyu, the head of Wildlife Standards and Utilities of Buganda Road Court, delivered the verdict.
They were in unlawful possession of the lion parts. I therefore find each of the accused persons guilty of the offense of unlawful possession of protected species.
Although court found out that the 2 are not physically found at Queen Elizabeth National Park committing these offenses, the surrounding circumstances placed them at the scene of crime.
Now, in this case, witnesses did testify that after arrest, of the accused person. They led them to places where they had kept 4 lion heads, 15 lion paws, and lion fat, which was in a yellow jerrycan.
Keko Joan, Chief State Attorney, asked court to give the convicts a deterrent sentence since they wasted court's time by denying, yet they knew that they had committed them.
I want court to take note of the ripple effects of the actions of the accused part of the convict. Killed lions, vultures died as a result, is affected simultaneously by actions of the convict.
The two are found guilty with 1 count of poisoning and killing these lions, endangering wildlife, and illegally entering their habitats. The said lions were killed in Queen Elizabeth National Park on 17th and 18th of March 2020 at Hubugomba Job Meeting Ground in Sesha Sector at Queen Elizabeth National Park in Kanungu District. Court will resume on the 30th of August 2022 to deliver its sentence in this matter. The convicts were represented by lawyer Ochum Christopher and Andrew Muganga. Natong Rebecca, UBC News.
This is one number TX 201/2021.
Minister of State for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives has revealed that 17 people who died after drinking CT5 gin alcohol succumbed to death due to excessive adulteration of the gin with methanol, which was over 16,000 times higher than the permissible 50% milligrams per litre specified in the standard for a gin. The minister says the manufacturers used cheaper methanol to increase potency instead of ethanol that is required in making alcoholic beverages.
The Bureau of Standards indicate that excessive alteration of the gin with methanol killed the 17 people in Arua district, leaving others bedridden. Luluwiri fruit wine manufacturers of CT5 gin used methanol that is harmful to humans instead of ethanol that is usually used in making alcohol.
The likely cause of death for the people who consumed CT5 was due to excessive adulteration of the gin with methanol, which was found to be between 17 to 16,183 times, far more higher than permissible level of 50 milligrams per liter, which is specified in the standards for gin.
4 suspects have so far been arrested and the company has since been closed.
Some are representatives of the manufacturers. They are employees of the manufacturing companies, and then there was one who was actually selling. The one who was in the bar selling the CT5 gin. So that one was picked, and one of the samples we got was directly from the kiosk where these people were drinking. We found one which had remained a quarter of the bottle, which the police had picked, and we found that even with that a quarter, it could kill as many as 10 people if you share that a quarter. So the concentration was extremely high.
Uganda Bureau of Standards is in the process of decentralizing works of the Bureau for easy monitoring.
We want to engage and build capacity of the village health teams, because these people reach on every village and they are responsible for issues to do with health. So we want to partner with them, village health teams, to ensure that if they see anything on the village, it is reported immediately to the nearest authority so that we can arrest this.
Parliament is to form an interministerial committee to monitor and certify advertisements aired by media houses.
We are forming an interministerial committee to look into the matter and take action immediately for media houses that advertise uncertified products by UNBS.
Government, through the Office of the Prime Minister, is yet to conclude on whether the affected families will be compensated or not. Marian Wamcha, UBC News.
The Minister of State for Local Government, Victoria Rusoke Atwoki, has vowed to ensure interdicted government officials are not transferred to other entities but forfeit their jobs. We have more in this report.
Bull by the horn, whatever they say, and we put these people to book. Parliament has adopted a Public Accounts Committee report on local governments that, among others, recommends that project contractors should not be recruited from the centre but by districts and focal entities.
The question that the report of the Committee on Public Accounts, Local Government, on the report of the Auditor General for financial year 2020-2021 be adopted by this House. Those in favour say aye, those against say no. The ayes have it. Now,
the State Minister for Local Government, Victoria Rusoke, promised to ensure interdicted government officials are not transferred to other districts and entities where they are likely to repeat their corrupt tendencies.
I want to promise this House that the issue of transferring culprits end today. Mark my words, I have ever risen it in the ministry. I'm on record having shared that with my senior minister. We are going to leave no stone unturned. It's really thieving, transporting a thief from one station to another.
Rusoke also promised to take action on public servants who fail to monitor government project implementation that often lead to shoddy work.
And every 3 months they were alternating the correct teachers with the shoddy ones. We have arrested the cow of Untoroko hardly last week, and I will be there on this Saturday to nullify all the 500 appointments. So as local government, we need supplementary effort. Even you members of parliament, don't wait to bring matters here on the floor. Act in your own districts.
She also appealed to Ntoroko district to hire a district service commission and dismiss over 500 illegally recruited staff.
Whether it's ministry originated, I will do what is possibly humanly possible to sit with my senior and we take action. We want to give room to our civil servants to take action and we are blamed. I want to assure you of that one.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Taewa, who presided over the House, hailed Victoria Rusoke's determination to ensure those that fail to embrace district commissions are forced to do so.
And the Minister for the strong commitment. Honourable Minister, this encourages us to do our work. You know, when we know we have your support and we are going to work with you. So we will give you support. I saw the Prime Minister was nodding. She was very happy. She will give you support where you need interministerial collaboration. So you will have to work together. Now, members, I want to put the question.
The 139-page report covered close to 16 districts and municipalities, also recommended that all districts should have service commission to effective recruitment of staff.
The hybrid procurement method. The problem we have found is that the contractors that are given these projects are majorly sent to the districts by the ministries. So they are dictated upon. And the districts do not have options of opening up. And so lists of contractors are sent, and those are the contractors selected from among them and given contract. They're extremely big-headed, they don't respect the districts, and then you find one company doing...
Joshua Kagoro, Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Uganda's Iraq war veterans are demanding for compensation from the U.S. government to enable them get continuous treatment for the damage and other disorders caused while in war. The veterans asked to be provided with insurance as was agreed on in their contracts.
Ugandan soldiers have been active in Iraq, many as security guards. About 25,000 Ugandan men and women have supported US-led operations in Iraq. According to the army, there are still many of these veterans still in Iraq. Many returnees are in a desperate state. Most of them got permanent injuries and haven't been compensated.
And Department of State to compensate us, to give us proper medical care, because we have members, generally, the biggest majority is affected psychologically and physically.
Musinguzi says about $6 billion is what they need to compensate over 200 warriors who fought.
There are people who have amputations, there are people who have paralysis, you know, from accidents. Then there are people who have physical, like myself. I have partial hearing. I cannot like hear fully. You have to speak louder, or I have to have a hearing aids. So everyone, I can guarantee that everybody who has participated in the Iraq missions and Afghanistan American war zone, combat zones, is affected one way or the other.
The victims narrate some of their life experiences after coming back home.
After some few months, I was brought back to Uganda and to my mother country. Still, they kept on treating me, not until they decided to give me a compensation, but which wasn't fair enough for me, because ever since I got an accident, 2012, up to date, I'm still walking on my crutches.
The story stayed among Lubigi swamp encroachers along the northern bypass situated in Wakiso district as NEMA continued with its operations of evicting the occupants of the swamp. A number of housing structures were demolished by the environmental body, with others set ablaze.
The puzzled and troubled residents were left in shock as NEMA continued with the day 3 of the evictions following the president's directives recently. Even when they carried placards that allegedly read "Leave Up Property," this did stop the enforcers from carrying on their assigned duties. NEMA Uganda police, backed by the military police, couldn't spare anyone who illegally occupied the famous Lubigi swamp. Several houses that had been built in the swamp were demolished and many set ablaze. The unsober mood attracted attention as many shed tears, worrying about where to relocate. The enforcers also cut crops and trees in the swamp. The In the course of the destruction exercise, many occupants credited the man of evicting them, alleging that they had legal documents for ownership of the plots. The operation didn't spare ghetto youths, as their housing units were brought down, threatening to get involved in crime. Lubaga North Legislator Abubeka Kawalia, accompanied by other division leaders, paid a visit at the scene.
Planning authority.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC News.
Tough moments there for those people who have been evicted from that Lubigi swamp. And without we've come to the end of this first edition of News Tonight, thank you so much for having kept us company. Elizabeth Nakakoni has been on sign language, and I'm Rukidi Edward Kiijanangoma. Catch you at 10.